public education is not a secret we can keep to ourselves. The remarkable things that take place in our district is something that we certainly want to share with everyone in our community.
I just want to say thank you for being here. It's going to be a great day.
Have you here and to show off our school. When they told me I had the opportunity to host this, we were very thrilled.
Thank you for being here with us today. We are honored to have you. We are so excited to have you here on our campus so we can show you what it means to be a coyote and what it means to be at Centennial High School.
It is my privilege and my honor to serve this community, this school district. So very proud. What we want from you today is to see the good things we're doing and to go back to your friends and neighbors in your community and tell them, hey, you know what? Those taxes that we're paying, worth every penny. Keep supporting the school district because it makes us all stronger. We're all in this together. This is our city. This is our school district. These are all our kids.
Next time.
Next time.
She's going to text me if it's still open.
To speak. Oh, didn't she put on their public comment? What number is public comment? Is it
Public comment is 6.
Can you just write that in right there? And then, yeah. Okay.
Got it.
Thank you.
Ms. Stone, would you pass this down to President Bullock, please?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start in about 30 seconds. And again, as I mentioned every time, the really expensive, the kind of seats that people sleep overnight for are still available up front, if anybody wants to move up front. And there are, again, no takers. I've been doing that for a couple of years, and there are no takers. I don't know why. All right, good evening, everybody. We are very thankful that you're here tonight. In order to start the meeting, I'll start with the official. Now it's official. So thank you for being here tonight. We know you have a lot of options for helping in education. This is one of the great ways to do it, to participate in the process. We're going to go ahead and start with a moment of silence, as we usually do. If you'll join me for about 30 seconds, we'll stand up, kind of gather our thoughts, and then we're going to have Cassidy, who volunteered nicely, to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance right after that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cassidy. Actually, I just asked her about 2 minutes ago, so we appreciate you stepping up to the plate there. And you know what's even more cool about you doing that tonight is because what's tomorrow, right? Veterans Day. And so this is an extra special Pledge of Allegiance tonight as we honor our veterans. So you just rose to the top. All right, let's move on with our agenda. Tonight's meeting, I feel it's a good idea to bring this up. Tonight's meeting is going to be kind of an abbreviated meeting. For those who like really long board meetings, I'm going to disappoint you tonight, unfortunately. Many of people are going to be attending a Westmark presentation to Dr. Santarelli. Our former superintendent is receiving an award, a West Valley Leadership Award tonight at an event, and so some people will be attending that, and so we're going to show that courtesy to be able to get to that nice event and honor our past superintendent. So I will talk faster than usual. All right, so on with our first, number 4, staff recognitions. Mrs. Airy, Dr. Stifler. I almost said discovered something weird this week. Dr. Stifler, or Darwin Stifler, Denton Santarelli, both DS. It never hit me until he pointed it out, so it's kind of weird.
It all works. On recognitions, super quick, but lots to brag about. 25 members of the Vistancia Elementary Steel Drum Band, known as the Iron Pans, performed in Washington, D.C. for the National Blue Ribbon Ceremony this week. 8th grader Layla Lantine sang the national anthem, Jacob Ayers led the Pledge of Allegiance, and Liam Beltran introduced Secretary of Education John B. King Jr. during the open ceremony. Iron Pans is the first group outside of Washington, D.C. to be invited to perform. It was a big deal. It was streamed live. Everybody was very excited, very cool. Congratulations to the Centennial High School varsity volleyball team. They defeated Sunny Slope last night and won the state championship. We will be inviting them and any other state champions to a board meeting in December. Tonight, we have 3 football teams playing in the quarterfinals: Centennial versus Desert Edge, Peoria versus Saguaro. Actually, we have 4, Sunrise versus Catalina Foothills, and Cactus versus Higley. Today, I had the opportunity to meet with student council presidents from all Peoria Unified High Schools, including Peoria Flex Academy, during the Superintendent Student Advisory Council luncheon. It's something that I regularly look forward to. I'm pleased to connect with these students, leaders on great things taking place on their campuses. Here endeth the report.
Thank you very much, Dr. Stifler. All right, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda is board recognitions. It's a chance for board members to talk about things they may have done or visited or seen over the past couple weeks. I will start with my right, Ms. Pangarelli. Okay, Mr. John again.
I would just like to recognize Ms. Judy Doan and of course, Ms. Monica Sayá Martinez, and David Sandoval, wherever he is, for winning the election and joining the Peoria School Board family. And I wish them all nothing but the best of success in the future.
Thank you very much. I'll go to my left, Ms. Doan.
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay, Ms. Connect.
Thank you for being so gracious, Mr. Jonigan. That's very nice. I would just offer our thanks and gratitude to our veterans for tomorrow, and hold my recognitions to the schools I have attended until our next meeting.
Great. I am not going to be as good as you, because there's two that are so good that they can't wait, but I will be brief. Our good friend, Dr. Beltran, with the cool red shirt on over there, I was able to have the privilege, because it was, to attend the CTA, basically the Career Exploration Day, this past Saturday at Peoria High School, where we were talking about it for the last 6 months, and the event came out. I was able to give tours. I lost my first family because I turned my back to talk to somebody and they left, and I felt bad. So the next 5 I really glued myself to, so I showed them a good time. Highly attended. The reviews were amazing. Dr. Beltram and your staff, because I know you're the first to always bring your staff in to help. An event that it blew me away, the participation, the excitement, I had no idea you guys had this from parents and students. I know I keep talking about our 5-year goal would be great to double CTE enrollment, but just the excitement that came on Saturday, talking to people, talking to students and parents' eyes are like deer in the headlights. I had no idea that you had these types of programs and the depth and the professionalism of programs. And I was happy to brag that we are not only the #1 CTE program in the state, but we're now nationally recognized. And parents, again, were like, I had no idea. And when people say that with nodding their head this way, I have no idea, you know you hit a home run. So congratulations to you and your staff for an incredible event and all those who participated. So I couldn't wait, sorry. And then today, I had the privilege of attending a Veterans Day celebration at Zuni Hills Elementary. I know most all of our elementary schools had presentations. I was fortunate enough to go to Zuni Hills. 50 veterans were there, and 2 from World War II. It was absolutely breathtaking. The kids were gracious, excited. The speakers were great. It was one of those events you walk out and go, you know what? These kids are going to make it. It's going to be okay. There's chaos, confusion all around, but these kids are something special, and they grabbed onto the beauty of the civics of honoring our veterans. So what a humbling day. So this has been an awesome PUSD week. So thank you very much for letting me be part of those things. So, all right, next item on the agenda is request to address the governing board regarding matters not included on the agenda. Back for her second appearance is Ms. Cassidy. She's going to come up and do our public speaking on this particular event. She's going to be speaking on special thanks in regards to Raymond S. Kellis. So I'll let you take it from there. You have 3 minutes and anything you want to say. And thank you for being here tonight.
I wrote a speech on my phone. Good evening, Dr. Stifler, President Bullock, and school board. I want to personally say thank you to the board, to the administration, and especially Dr. Patty Beltram on getting Raymond S. Kellis High School. I've got your 6K flyer in honor of our veterans, servicemen, and women posted in your guys' facility. Our marketing/DECA program at RSK was given an assignment under the direction of Ms. Nygaard and Mr. Moreno to see if we could get a flyer posted in another business. My parents challenged me to think outside of the box. And with that said, I want to thank the City of Peoria Police Department, Sergeant Christopher Webb, City of Peoria Fire and Medical Department, City of Glendale Department, my SRO at RSK, Mr. Cunningham, the Arizona Cardinals, especially Mr. Furmansky, at Fox Sports, Mr. Brett Hansen, at 3TV/KPHO Channel 5, Ms. Meredith Diggs, at Fox 10 News, Paul Salone, Wells Fargo. I especially want to thank my principal, Mr. Wooten, my vice principal, Ms. Molina, Ms. Nygaard, and Mr. Moreno for putting up with all my emails that I've been sending to them. And my old elementary school, Cotton Bowl, who works there is my principal, Mr. Snyder, my vice principal, Dr. Marsden, and Ms. Bockenselli, a teacher, for getting our flyers posted over at their school who helped build my journey during my educational success. Thank you.
You know, let me give you some props real quick. Do you know what was most amazing about what you just did right there? You just exhibited the number one characteristic that will make you successful in whatever you do in life. Do you know what that characteristic is? Appreciation. I'm a little bit older than you, and I'll tell you that there is nothing that will get you further in life, genuine success, than appreciation for those who helped you get where you are. People want to help people they like and that appreciate them. So if you keep that attitude of thankfulness and appreciate and publicly letting people know how appreciative you are of them, you'll write your ticket anywhere. And mark my words, I've seen it happen 100 times. So thank you, you just made our night. Cool. All right, next item on the agenda, unless Ms. McCarty, were there any other speakers? Okay, good. All right, next item on the agenda is address agenda and consider adoption or recommend changes. This is a chance for board members to rearrange the agenda for any specific purpose. Any movement in the agenda items, board members? All right, we will move on as stated. All right, number 8, we're excited about this, presentation on advanced ed accreditation work. And we have Ms. Pallas Thompson joining us. Thank you for being here tonight.
Well, good evening. Good evening, President Bullock, Dr. Stifler. It's a pleasure. We're going to do a quick advanced ed run through because we'll be doing another one of these in the early part of January to get all the board members up to speed on the kinds of things we'll be doing, and we'll move very quickly through it. Note the quote at the bottom, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." Please note that this habit of excellence is due totally to your teams that have been here across the district. We're talking about your principals, we're talking about their administrative staff, the teachers, the students, site councils have put together already the advanced ed program that is pretty solid. We have people at the district that are amazing, couldn't be done without them. I have to mention, I don't know if she's here right now, Lynn Bailey, Wendy Davey, Ann Babina. Those are all people who just killed themselves to make sure things were there. Danielle Airy, who keeps us in line. Again, Lynn, who keeps me in line. And certainly Donna Keller, my secretary, who is one amazing human being and just keeps it going. So we're moving forward because of the work of everybody working amazingly hard. Please note that advanced ed accreditation is something that we did back for several years under NCA, but now it's advanced ed. 2012, we were the first group, as you recall, Mrs. Connect, right? You were here then. We were the group that went through advanced ed. We were accredited. Advanced ed is a protocol that is worldwide. They come in, they take a look at what we're doing, they analyze if we have a continuous improvement plan, how our vision looks, our purpose, and then determine, are we accredited? And if so, then terrific. If not, they give us some direction to go, and another 5 years, we go through the process one more time. Not one more time, for that time for the 5 years. Note that in February 2012, it was one report. We had a bound report, some of you might recall, that we put together. This time, all of our schools are having to write a report as well as the district. So we have 42 school reports along with the district report. 42 because we have 8 high schools, including the Flex Academy, and then we have all of our K-8 schools, including the Sunflower School. So we're pretty excited about it, and again, administrators, their teams, their teachers, their leadership teams have done an amazing amount of work, and I'll share what some of that is pretty quickly. There are 5 standards that they're coming in to accredit. When I say they, we have a team of 8 that is coming in to take a look at us, 4 from within the state of Arizona, 4 from outside. We're pretty excited to be working with them. And note, what we're kind of excited about is the center standard that they talk about is inside of our vision for district, is certainly teaching and learning about what our kids are doing. So we're pretty excited about that. Each of the standards has a champion, and I think all the champions are here right now. So I'm going to have them stand up as we talk about their standards, so you'll know, because it may give them a hard time, so they can't just sit back there and pretend they're not listening. Okay, standard 1, purpose and direction, that's Allie Bridgewater. She is running that particular standard. Allie, thank you. Standard 1. This one talks about whether we as a district and as our schools, do we maintain a purpose and direction around a vision? How are we on a scale of 4, 3, 2, 1 as we get measured? And we measure and self-reflect ourselves. Each school does it, and then we as the district office, Ellie owns that standard with a team that she's put together. Standard 2, governance and leadership, Mr. Savoy. Okay? They said they were going to do the wave tonight. This particular standard is dealing with how good are we at aligning our vision with respect to our governing board, as well as the governance and the autonomy of that governance at our schools. So he has a team that's put together. When I say team, they're principals, they're assistant principals, people at the district level, to really take a look at, and I'll show you what we take a look at to determine where we are and where we think we need to go. Number 3, Connie Whitty. It kind of ties into what she's about, the teaching and assessing for learning. This is, again, a huge standard. Each of these standards has X amount of indicators. This one is the biggest one. It's really full, as it should be in a school district. And she's put together, and she's nodding, a lot of work, an amazing team. Standard 4, this is resources and support systems. Okay, Mr. Hicks, he has put together, and I know they're going woo because it is huge, and that is all of the different departments, not just the schools, work together and talk about the resources and support with respect to how does that impact this thing called education in Peoria. And then Standard 5, what is the name again? I was going to say Bobby, but she'll kill me. Bob Kegel, he is dealing with, continuous improvement and putting that particular group together. Do we have a plan to move from here to there, and is it aligned to our vision and the direction we're going? Now note that we have to put, when we talk about the district and the sites, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces together and look at them and say, and a report is put together. We didn't start with the executive summary. That was actually the last thing we have done. We started actually from the bottom up, but let's talk about it. The executive summary is the first thing when our teams come in and take a look at it. And by the way, we will have these reports ready for you to look at and when they're off of the draft stage. We will be submitting, I don't know if Lynn's here because she is making me say it, December 7th. We push a button and it goes into the system, and then we really can't change anything. So I thought Pearl Harbor Day was a good day right after Veterans Day. Executive summary is filled with our demographics for the district as well as each school, the vision, the purpose, the function, the strategic plan, if you will. What has changed in the past 3 years? What do we expect to have happen as the vision for the future? That's all built into the executive summary. We've written one, the teams that just stood up did, as well as each school. And that's a heavy-duty job for each school to do on top of everything else that they do right now. The self-assessment, that was each standard that I talked about gets evaluated on a scale, I believe 4 to 1 is what we were looking at. Some of them were 5 to 1, but it's a 4 to 1 scale. And they look and they say, where are we with respect to each standard and each indicator under that standard? And then they have to write a narrative for the entire standard and indicator on their strengths and how they want to sustain them, and areas of improvement, and what are their plans to improve. So each school, again, has looked at that. Now, all of this information is from their own sense of their school, their own data, but we did 2 things that are important to note. One is to get stakeholder feedback, and about 6 months ago, we sent out a survey to our teachers, to our communities, to our students, and they filled those. Wendy was amazing assembling them and getting them back to us. We had pretty good turnover in all of them. Pretty good results as far as their community thinks we're doing good work. There were areas that they suggested that, hey, these are things that we think you should take a look at. Students, bullying was really not an issue. You'd think that we would hear more of that. Some of our kids said that, well, gee, we didn't think some of our teachers are being treated nicely enough by some of our students. That was an interesting piece of feedback. Our parents are thinking that the governing board is doing a great job. They don't know that the schools have a certain autonomy with respect to the governance that they can do within a school. They don't notice that unless they're on a site council and they can see, oh, there's a little play on, taking what we can do. So interesting survey, and that information is built into that self-assessment as they're putting pieces together. It's again ranked, and you can't move away from it, and the teams will come in and look at it. Student performance, again, we look at the data. Wendy was huge with the work that we're doing. They're looking at our data. We can see that it's flatter than we like and that it hasn't moved in the direction necessarily, even though there's been changes in the types of assessment tools that we're using. We also see that there's still certain gaps with certain populations that we want to fix. That's embedded in the report. The report is not intended to be a magical great, although we are. It's meant to be kind of true, so we can take it and move it forward. And then the advanced ed assurances are, do we follow the rules? Have there been major changes? Oh, just a couple. But have they impacted what we're about as a district? No, not so much. So we have those all in place. And I believe you have in your packet the agenda. They will be here starting, and I will say it right, January, not July 22nd. I said July, I went, ugh, not going to happen. That's a Sunday. Last time it was Super Bowl, and that made everybody crazy. Not so much this time, which is good. So we start on January 22nd. They come in, a team meets them. Dr. Stifler and Danielle and I will be, and Kenny, did we tell you that yet? We'll be meeting them for dinner. And then they start getting together. Most of these people have not met each other together. They've been on several review teams, but not necessarily together. On Monday, they will spend pretty much the entire day over here at the district office. We'll start with, again, and I'm not going through all of it, but Dr. Stifler will be kicking it off. Then each of the champions, standard champions, will be giving a review. Everybody in those groups then will be questioned with their teams. That'll take us through the morning. We have different stakeholder feedback pieces going on right after, like 10:30, if you can look on it. And then all of our principals are going to be coming in to be interviewed. 10 of our schools are going to be visited this time, and that'll be on Tuesday, 2 of them actually Monday afternoon. So we have 10 of our sites that are going to be there, but all of our principals are going to be interviewed, and they spend some time. They'll be dividing them up in different rooms, and that's worth doing. Note that in the afternoon, we're going to be going to 2 schools. It says Peoria Elementary and Peoria Flex Academy. Flex Academy talked about the fact that it was probably too late in the afternoon to really get a good picture because a lot of their kids are there in the morning. We've moved it over, and Desert Valley is going to be the school, so note that as a change in our procedures. They're going to spend all afternoon there. They go through and to classrooms. They do what's called an eliote and look at what they're seeing in the classrooms. Are the kids, doing the same type of thing that we look at in our evaluation tool? And then we continue to move on. Note that there is leadership teams and parents will be interviewed. While those 2 schools are being visited by about 4 people, the other 6 will be staying here. This is again Monday. It's only Monday. And business service team, about 10 people, C&I people, and support staff will be coming in and having conversation with them for an hour, and they will talk about the same 5 standards. What do you know about it? Where are you at? All of these teams, especially Ken's team, certainly the support staff was critical in putting together the standard for the district, standard foreign resources, whether it was Doug or Chris or any of the people working, they really know what we have going on. Note that this piece is coming out from 1:15 to 2:15. They want to meet the governing board, and they're going to be meeting with each of you on the 23rd and or new board members. So they will be hitting and doing their external review. We won't call a board meeting. We'll just have you in separate areas. If you're not able to come, they will make a phone call and have that conversation. The next day, okay, and it feels like a lifetime, but that whole next day is visiting schools. And they will be visiting all the schools that are there. They're given a map. No one escorts them really through it. They want to see it and talk to kids and not have anybody show them what they're seeing. They want to see what they're seeing by themselves. And they have an instrument. They get back together. They're going to be eating our lunches in our schools, and then they'll be returning. And I was on a team, and several of our people they will be spending hours starting to assemble the data and the reports of what they're putting together. Wednesday, this is Tuesday, and it's again the visits, and they're entering their stuff. They go back to the Hampton Inn. On Wednesday, this is their last day, and they spend time coming back here asking for evidence. I should point out that for each standard that we say we have something, they want to see evidence. So our teams, and this is Valerie and Donna and Wendy and all the team, have put together on our portal evidence for every single standard and every single indicator from every single school. So it's intense, and they will be looking at it. Many of them, as soon as we release the information, will start looking at it over winter break so that they're ready to go on the schools they're visiting. They'll have a final meeting, and right after the final meeting, we are having a special board meeting where they will then stand here. It'll only be called for this one item, and they'll be indicating that we certainly think that Peoria Unified School District should be accredited. And that's the expectation. I have nothing less than that as an expectation. So you will be in attendance for that, please. This was spelled right. This is advanced end, because this is a journey, and this is hopefully the end of this piece here to let you guys go. But number one, the point of this is we get accredited. That's certainly an obvious point that's there. And if our children did not come from accredited high schools, they would have difficulty getting into the universities. So that's part of the major part. It is a key vehicle for continuous improvement. With all the whining and complaining and yelling that I do, that some of our sites do as they're putting them together, I still hear as the reports are being completed from some of my most critical administrators, this is pushing us forward. This is worth doing. It really does focus us on the work, and that's what we need to be doing. So it is a vehicle for that, and it allows us to analyze, to reflect, and to celebrate, because there's nothing less that's going to be happening here. We're excited about it. I'm excited. I'll be excited when it's over, and stand for any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Pangarelli, if you want to start to my right with questions or comments?
Sure, I think you answered one of my questions. So you think December 7th, the accreditation report will be finalized?
It will be, yes, Ms. Pangarelli.
Okay.
December 7th.
And then, so you're going to have 42 different reports in one district report? Is the
Yep.
district report a combination of the 42?
It's a real good question. It is in some ways, because the data that we're using with respect to performance data and stakeholder data is really based on the schools. And so as we look at it, that piece is there. But the writing was very, very individualized for the schools as well as for the district. We've certainly looked and gone back and forth with it. There should be a continuity that the team is seeing. No one is an outlier, but there is a very unique feel to all of it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jonigan?
No questions, but I can just say by the folks that you have chosen to lead this, I have no doubt that this will go over very well, and nothing but the best results will occur. So
Thank you. I agree
Good
with
luck.
you. Thank you.
Mrs. Doan, questions, comments?
Well, I'm looking up the date I'm supposed to meet with these. I have it in my book. I do appreciate and understand all the hard work that everybody's been putting into this. This is a massive undertaking, and it looks like it's going to be so perfect.
Well, thank you.
I like
Thank you. It's an amazing team. It is
Mhm.
amazing. Thank you.
Ms. Connect? Two quick questions. Are there other organizations that do accreditation, or is Advanced Ed the only one that we would use in Arizona?
That, again, a good question. I know we did NCA. I believe this is the only one that the schools around us and across the country are doing. I'd have to say this
The
is.
West, this is the dominant organization.
Right.
Second thing, what does it cost the district roughly to do this? Because obviously there's some expenses to be, accredited. Is there?
Oh, my goodness, there's no cost, Mr. Bullock. It's a lot, and I don't have the number, and I'm certainly
curious.
Mr. Hicks does.
Okay.
But each element of it, including having them come out and the food and all of that is a cost that we've budgeted for, but it's significant.
The POs that we've issued to date this fiscal year is almost $40,000 for this process.
Okay. I'm just curious because, that's good to know. And then I'm asking that as a citizen, not as a board member, because whenever there's something unique like this that comes along, although necessary, it's always interesting to see. I would have thought it would have been about 5 times that amount. So that's actually quite low for, what's that? Oh, and we're thankful it's not. But no, for that amount of effort, that's amount of work, that's incredible. And then the last thing, unless I just missed it, because the December, unless I missed it and it just didn't gel in my head, they're coming towards the end of January. Unfortunately, I will miss them, but I will certainly send my regards. The report that you mentioned, December 7th, when, obviously, the December 7th comes before the January, when will they give their final report? It's going to be coming to the board meeting, a special executive or a special board meeting that will be presenting their findings. Will they be able to compile that quickly to say you're accredited, or do they come back a long time later, unless I missed that
That's a
date?
good question. At that meeting on that Wednesday, they'll meet with Dr. Stifler first, tell him what they have put together. They will be recommending an accreditation. That has to go to their advanced ed board
Okay.
to say, yeah, well, that's correct or not. They'll determine whether or not, based on, and it's a number game too.
Sure.
But as they move the numbers, is it accredited without any tasks that we have to do afterwards? Is it fully done, or is there something we have to do in order to do it? They do give us 2.5 years after they accredit to say, can you remedy the couple things that we think should be looked at? And last time it had to do with, for example, our exit outcomes and pushing them in. So we're comfortable that the final report that we can say, hey, this is amazing, about a month after they come to visit. But we will know at the board meeting what they're recommending.
Oh, good, that quickly they can assemble that data, because that was my final question is, you're going to be accredited or not, or is there a middle part, and you kind of did accredited with conditions,
Right.
fix these 2 or 3 things, and have them done, and that will maintain your accreditation.
Yep, good
Okay.
question, and they could
So-
do that then, and we should see that day. And I don't want you to feel left out. We certainly have put you on as one of the citizens that are going to be part of that group. So note that several of you might be in that group also.
I'm on vacation.
No, we got you.
January 1st, I'm
They'll
out of
call
here.
you.
No, just joking. Always happy to help. Thank you for those
Thank
questions.
you.
I just
Thank
a couple
you.
that popped in my head. All right, are we good then? All right, this is an information item only, so thank you very much,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Palace Thompson. We
Thank you.
appreciate your, and everyone else. I was kind of, to see everyone do their thing, I was most impressed and slightly disturbed at Mr. Kegel, because you kind of look like Rocky. I want to do Eye of the Tiger. I don't know, is that what you were doing? Okay. All right, Mr. Kegel, Eye of the Tiger. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 9, report and discussion on local, state, and federal legislative issues and activities. Dr. Stifler, do you have anything for us this evening, sir?
Yes, I do. Quickly, though. Locally, of course, we had an election on Tuesday. I think the world knows that. Locally, in January, our new governing board will be comprised of Ms. Judy Doan, Ms. Monica Ceja Martinez, Mr. David Sandoval, and they'll be joining Ms. Kathy Connect and Mrs. Beverly Pingarelli. And congratulations to everyone there. Our bond failed. The Westmec bond looks like it's going to fail. Proposition 400 for the city of Peoria failed. Zooming down, Maricopa County, we're going to have a new county school superintendent. Don Covey has been our superintendent for a long time. There'll be somebody new in that office. We'll have to learn what that means for us. That will mean some things, but we don't know what that means yet. Arizona propositions that I believe at least impact us. The Prop 205, legalizing recreational use of marijuana failed. I would think that every superintendent in the state was against that. I expect that will come back on the ballot. Prop 206, raising the minimum wage, that passed. That has impacts on our districts and has impacts on our students. It will be an impact that builds over time, but we will have to raise minimum wage up. It will cost us more this budget year, the next budget year, and ongoing. And as I learned today, I should have known this ahead of time, but speaking with students, they're concerned as well. It's for students who maybe it's just pocket money, but it's also for some of our students who help out their families. And so they're concerned about, will employers be able to keep them on when minimum wage goes up to $12? That was a poignant moment for a student to share. At the federal level, it seems distant, but it could have impact on us. Of course, the Republicans will control both houses of Congress and the presidency. We haven't seen a lot of impact on us because there's been a block. Well, there won't be a block, and we'll have to see what happens, what impact that has on us. We'll have to see all those things that happen. Ongoing, of course, is the ESSA, the Every Student Succeeds Act, and A through F. Superintendents, as I've reported to you previously, everyone, I think, across the state is concerned about A through F and how it's going. The law says that we will have a new A through F system that we will be measured against this year. We don't know what that system is, so people are quite naturally concerned about that. The legislature could pass a law that says that doesn't have to be. I attended a meeting at Arizona Department of Education today, by the way, sincerely. Ms. Douglas says hi. I told her I would tell you all hi. About how that's unfolding and rolling through the A through F, the ESSA, that's all through there. And lastly, Mr. Hicks and I have the joy of testifying at the Arizona Legislature on Monday, along with 7 other districts in response to the Auditor General's performance audit. And that would be our report.
Thank you very much. We really look forward to your feedback and what happened with that hearing. I really would love to be a fly on the wall there. Perhaps we will.
Actually, we heard, I want to end the report, but I don't want your hopes to be too high, because we got feedback that said, hey, Darwin, there's a lot on that agenda, don't talk more than 8 minutes.
Oh.
So I'm grateful
yeah.
for that.
Well, good. We look forward to hearing the feedback from that interview. All right, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, for agenda items for future governing board meetings. To my fellow board members, anything for a future board meeting?
Not tonight.
Next item on the agenda, consideration and approval of the consent agenda. It's also a chance for board members to pull any specific report for either correction or notice or brag about, maybe? You want to just pretend like do a little head shake or to fake me out or anything?
Mr.
right.
Bullock, I move to approve the consent agenda.
All right, do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, it's been moved by Ms. Connect and seconded by Mr. Jonigan. Vote when the button pops up. It is. Did not come up for you?
No, it logged me out. No, it says I'm logged in. Didn't pop up.
All right, you want to do,
Okay, maybe it's, yeah, okay.
there it is, okay. Okay, it passes 5-0. Thank you very much, board members. Next item on the agenda, reports, budget facility report. Again, I would encourage everyone, especially those watching or viewing this later, all of these reports are available on our website. They're available in the board packet that comes out the Friday before every board meeting. I really encourage you to look at these reports because it shows where our tax money, where our district money is being spent in repairs, safety, upgrading buildings, new teaching resources. Please, it is actually very cool to see where the money is going to help your school, whether your kid goes there, grandkid, or just a neighbor kid. You want to see where that money is being spent because we have a lot of projects going on at any one time. Our facilities team is quite busy. All right, great. Next item on the agenda is report on upcoming meetings and events. Again, these are great calendar stuffers for things coming up to see what you can put on your calendar. All right, Veterans Day tomorrow. Thank you to veterans. We appreciate your service. And of course, a week vacation for Turkey Day. Who doesn't love turkey? Next item on the agenda, district budget report for the month of September 2016. If you really want to know about how our money is spent and what money is budgeted each year, each month, each quarter, this is the report for you. Mr. Hicks always is happy to present and answer questions, especially to the legislature. Next item on the agenda is our draft agenda for December 1st. Can anyone believe it's going to be December in a couple weeks? Who believes that? All right, nobody. Thank you. If anybody raised their hands, I would kick you out. I think this year is missing 2 months. So anyway, next board meeting is December 1st, Thursday. It is a regular 5 p.m. start. Great, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, board member opportunity to readdress agenda items. This is our Control-Alt-Delete time if we want to go back and make any changes or undo anything. There. Ms. Stone, Ms. Connect, any changes or go back and discuss? Okay. All right, and again, this is a part, I apologize for those who love long board meetings, because it sets a new world record. I am very proud to be here tonight. I need a motion and a second to go home.
I have a motion for adjournment.
Okay, a second?
I'll second.
Okay. We make a mistake? Okay, because we do that. Well, I do that. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Oh, it's fine. We motion by Mr. Jonigan, seconded by Mrs. Doan. Mm-hmm. All right, thank you very much, everybody. We hope you have a great night and be safe.